In today's video, we're going to be talking about air compressor maintenance, the things to check and when to check them. So in order to have your compressor be there when you need it, to work to its top performance and be reliable, we're going to show you some of the tips we use in order to make sure it's ready to go when you need it. So to start our checks, the most important thing is safety. So we want to make sure we remove the power from our air compressor, pull the plug, turn off your breaker, whichever. You're going to want to make sure you bleed all the air off your tank so it's empty. One of the most important things you're going to want to do is make sure that you're routinely draining the moisture out of your tank. And it's very easy to do. We're just going to take a cloth, find where your drain valve is at the bottom of your tank. I'll just throw a cloth under it. And depending on how often you do this will dictate how much moisture is in your tank. This one doesn't get used as often as some people's, so it may not have that much. So just taking a pair of pliers, just got to open that drain valve and let that water drip out. So open that valve as wide as you can, leave it open for about 5 minutes or so, let all that water drain out. Once it stops dripping, you can just close your valve and that is done. So the next important piece we're going to check is the oil level in the air compressor itself. So on the base of your compressor, there's going to be two plugs. One's for draining and one's for adding. So in order to check the oil level, we're going to go right to the top one and take that plug out. Now you can see that our oil level is right up to the top, where it should be. If you're using your air compressor a lot, you're going to want to check this every 20-30 hours of use. Take a look at the oil level as well as the quality, and you can see that that oil is nice and clear. So the oil in this compressor is nice and clean. It doesn't get a lot of use. It's been a year since we changed it. But if you go to check your oil and it's dark in color, or you're finding it's got a little bit of white milky, that's moisture in the oil, you're going to want to change it. Very easy to do. Take out that other drain plug, drain your oil, put the plug back in, and refill with fresh. So just put the fill plug back in and tighten it up. Now that we've secured the fill plug, we'll move on to the next item to check. The next item is one of the most important little devils on your air compressor. That's the air filter. Just want to pop that air filter out and take a look at it. Make sure it's clean. And you can either blow it out to clean it, or if it's too far gone or it's really plugged up, just replace it. They're not that expensive. It's one of the most inexpensive and key items to your air compressor. And anytime if you're painting or spraying, try to make sure that you're not doing it in the same area that your air compressor is in. Because if it sucks in any of that material, even something as abrasive as paint can be, it will start to wear the internal components of your air compressor. So now that we've addressed the air filter, the next important piece we want to check is the drive belt. It's hiding just behind this belt cover. Belt cover is one of your important safety components. This one's in two-piece, just a matter of prying it off in order to get it. We're just going to pop that cover off. So with our belt cover off, we can easily inspect the belt. And really what we want to do is make sure that it's tight. And if it's not, we're going to just make our adjustment on the motor plate. As well, we're just going to look to make sure that there's no cracks or splits in the belt itself. If we find any, we're just going to replace the belt. Once that's been addressed, just put our belt cover back on, and we'll move on to the next piece. In order to do our function tests, we're going to plug in our air compressor and fire it up. We're going to be able to confirm that the check valve is working properly, as well as the pressure switch is cycling off the compressor at the proper pressure. So our air compressor just cycled off. You could hear that hissing sound at the very end, which is the check valve unloading the pressure off the head, which is exactly what we wanted to hear. That tells us the check valve is good, and our pressure switch cycled off at 130 pounds, which is exactly what it's supposed to do, so we know our pressure switch is good. So now we want to check our regulator. So I'm going to plug in my air line, It's an ideal time just to take a few seconds and just check your air hose to make sure that your connections aren't worn and that the hose isn't cracked or split. So just plug in our air hose, and we'll be able to use our air gun in order to hear the change in pressure as we adjust the regulator. So you could see that the regulator pressure gauge was going up and down, as well as the sound level coming out of the air gun was increasing and decreasing, telling us that our regulator is working perfectly. So now we're going to test our blow-off safety valve. To do that, you're going to make sure you want to have a pair of safety glasses on. We're going to pull the ring on our safety valve, let the pressure blow off, and then it should reseat and there shouldn't be any air hissing after it's done. And there you can see that your valve is working fine and the test is complete. So you're going to want to do a visual on your air compressor as well. You're going to want to check, make sure your wheels are tight and that they rotate fine. As well, you want to check the handle to make sure it's well secured. You also want to inspect your tank. Look for the welds and the seams, make sure that there's no sign of rusting or any corrosion. Look to see if there's any dents or any places where the paint looks like it's split, and just to make sure your tank is safe and solid. Thanks for watching today's video. We hope that the tips we've shown you will help prolong the life and performance of your air compressor. And if you have any comments or suggestions on things you do to help keep your compressor working well, please share them in our comments section. And don't forget to subscribe.